The Square Ball Podcast.
The show is brought to you by Levi Solicitors. They will do you 10% off your legal fees at levisolicitors.co.uk/the Square Ball. I'm Dan Moylan. With me, Michael Normanton.
Hello.
Moscow White as well. Daniel Chapman.
Hello.
Let's pick the heroes and villains of the last 7 days then in this part of the show. First, the Ken Bates Villain of the Week award. Loads of people on our shit list. Who's going to the top? Who are we starting with?
Mike Dean, VAR, referees. I'm even going to chuck the referee last night into this because he seemed to just refuse to book any Fulham players, even after there was that one where Creswell got kicked and barged at the same time. He didn't seem to give anything, but that was probably the lesser of the offences, given the ridiculous Dan James penalty decision that went against us. And we're still not forgotten about Pascal.
So we're just chucking all refs into this as a whole thing. We're saying, what, Mike Dean, VAR, Pawson, is he still in there? Last night's ref, who was it, by the way?
It was Tim Robinson,
right?
Who's like a poor imitation of Jim Robinson from Neighbours, so he's even bad at that. One letter wrong.
And we do throw this open to our TSB Plus subscribers as well on the feedback form on the match ball. We also take their hero and villain nominations, and Graham, Michael, Matthew, Matt, Dave, Aidan, Andrew, Katie, Kit, Pete, Jelly, Mike, also loads and loads of nominations for referees. It's not been a great week for the refereeing industry.
We really have turned into Liverpool, haven't we?
Well, while we are, just to go back to Craig Pawson, his explanation or non-explanation for things I found particularly annoying.
Circling the wagons.
In the Pascal strike thing, he just didn't explain the whole process, did he? That he didn't give a free kick and then decided to send him off. I feel like someone should really have just asked him the question. It was like...
Can't ask them about that.
It was like Laura Koonsberg was there herself, just going, I'm just going to nod along with what you've said. Brilliant.
You can't speak to a ref. Can't ask him.
You can't. Well, you can if you're Jurgen Klopp.
It's the Neil Warnock complaint, isn't it? Can't ask him anything. We want to find out what they're talking about. We can't. You imagine, Klopp and Warnock together discussing referees. I know they had. Klopp doing that video with the Liverpool fan where they were discussing the homophobic chanting and how that had to stop. So why don't they just get in with Neil Warnock and sort out refereeing? That's 10-minute heartwarming video. And you see that there's actually just there's a piece of paper between those two.
Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher were nominated by Sazi and Adsham. Adsham in particular picked out Carragher for coming dressed as Top Gun. Does he mean Maverick? I didn't see this.
I mean, I was there, so I didn't witness the Sky coverage.
He was wearing a bomber jacket, I think, from memory.
He came dressed as Biggles then, did he?
Yes.
With a flapping scarf and some goggles.
Biggles I used to read loads of Biggles books when I was a kid, and the only one that I've retained into adulthood is called Biggles Takes It Rough.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Junior Firpo got some nominations. Craig, Paul, Nigel. Nigel in particular picking out that miss. We know the one we mean.
Raphina's miss.
At Newcastle,
yes. Raphina's miss at Newcastle. Yes.
St. Maximin got a number of nominations from loads of people just for his ability to run at us and terrify us, which I think is fair enough.
Should we buy him?
With what?
Well, it won't be expensive.
Well, I think he will. We're in the Premier League now, and they're going to want...
but it's Newcastle.
40 million, aren't they?
He'll just want to get out.
Possibly. Let's see what the summer brings.
Let's not buy him, so we won't tell Mike Ashley, and he can just start playing for us.
Mm-hmm. While we're criticising Newcastle, Perpetual Worry nominated Steve Bruce.
Sinking Feelings' cousin, Perpetual Worry.
I'm not giving his full title. It's too long. Somehow represents a retired boxer, a type 2 diabetes patient, and Mr. Potato Head all at once, which I enjoyed a lot.
And it would be great to see Steve Bruce's reaction if he's just watching Sky one afternoon while Graham Jones is working out the match plans, and the Leeds game's on, and St. Maximin's up front for us. What's he doing?
As much as we're all chuckling along to you, Moscow, you've been nominated as well. Jim and Ralph in particular were disgusted by your defence of Tyler Roberts.
Yes.
Ralph picking out the fact that you said that we had the Newcastle game won after 18 minutes.
I'll take that one. I'm not going to take it for liking a Leeds United player. As crimes go, that's far from my worst.
Fuck the haters, or whatever it was Radrazani said.
I don't think it was fuck.
It wasn't that. No. I can't remember what he said. Something about haters.
A niche complaint from Philip, Liam Cooper's arms. He and they worry me a lot. not a villain, but Stuart Dallas looks undercooked this season. His interview after the Liverpool match, he looked shaken. I hope he's okay.
He always looks like that, Stuart Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, don't forget they've had personal stuff going on as well that made him withdraw from the Northern Ireland squad. So if he is shaken, there's possibly a good reason.
But even
for
when
it,
he's happy, I mean, if you remember when they gave him the Goal of the Season award and he looked like he was going to cry because he didn't deserve it, like he doesn't take happiness well.
Do Liam Cooper's arms worry you?
I think this is down to, in particular, that moment when St Maximin got away in the second half, when the ball went backwards off Luke Ayling's head, and because Liam Cooper was expecting him to be heading it forward, he was just giving Maximin a little tickle, and that was the real Liam Cooper's arms moment, because then suddenly Maximin's off after the ball and he's left tickling the air.
Is this the one where it turned out St Maximin can do forward rolls faster than Liam Cooper can run? Because there was a bit where he was just tumbling across the pitch and still going like about 30 miles an hour. It was very confusing.
That was the first half, and it was one of those moments that I quietly filed away as humorous.
You'll turn that into a GIF one day, won't you?
Yeah, it was because the camera pans left to discover Liam Cooper rolling to the right. He just comes into shot and he's on the floor, like rolling over for no reason, and St Maximin's off. So the camera keeps going from right to left, and as it goes across, you see Liam Cooper just flying across the ground in one direction, and then the camera keeps panning, and then you see St Maximin after the ball in the other one. You're like, what on earth is happening here? But it was great. So, Liam Cooper, we discussed in the Newcastle conversations that he did better against St Maximin in the second half. There was that one really great tackle, and even when he was left floundering, he was still kind of funny. So I don't feel like I can really bring villainy.
Maybe Philip, who has put this nomination forward, maybe he's one of those foot perverts, like a foot fetishist, and that's why he hates Liam Cooper's arms. He's given himself away there, hasn't he? Do you think?
Do foot fetishists hate hands and arms?
I don't know. I'm not one. Don't ask me. All right. Anyway.
Well, if you are a foot fetishist and you want to get in touch with Dan and explain how you feel about hands and arms,
message us rather than Emma Jones, which is what people mainly seem to do.
People need to stop doing that. It's making me deeply uncomfortable. Do people realise that when they post that stuff like on Twitter, that everybody can read it? I do wonder.
It does sometimes seem like thoughts have escaped from people's heads and onto a keyboard, doesn't it?
Anyway, Rob Price gets nominated. Dan and Katie both nominated Rob Price for, asking him, what's he playing at these days? We know about his history as the Beast and Butcher, assembling players from the broken and stripped down parts of others. Where is it now? Why isn't he built as a new centre-back? I mean, the remake of RoboCop was on the telly last night. What's Rob Price up to?
I mean, maybe
is he building a crime-fighting droid, or is he building as a centre-back? What is he up to?
Maybe Cresswell is the end result of this, because we were all surprised by how big he came back from pre-season.
That torso is not his. He's just a brain. He's a brainstem and some lungs under that, isn't he?
We were all quite surprised by how good he was yesterday.
And don't forget the effort that has gone into Adam Forshaw over the last 2 years. It's a wonder that Rob Price has had time to treat anybody else to get him back into condition. So he has been busy. And
one of the outside runners and riders in this is Ronaldo, the one over at Salford. Ryan, who's in Oz, wants to nominate him for not being the flop we'd all hoped that he'd be.
It's too early to declare him not a flop, I think. If at the end of the season they've finished third, you've got to think, well, what was the point?
and it's costing them like £500,000 a week. That's the important factor here.
And they're all tap-ins as well. Like, you don't need to pay somebody £500,000 a week to score from 3 yards. And the one against West Ham, he missed the first one anyway, didn't he? He put in the rebound. So you save the money, get Danny Webber.
I had to think who Danny Webber was then. It took me a
Leeds
minute.
United legend, that's who he is.
Yeah, I know. I realised, yeah. He was forefront of my mind when that conversation was going on.
And another scum player who left and so can bring him back in similar style. See how many shirts they sell.
Danny Pugh, get Danny Pugh back.
Have we got any more nominations, or should we pick one from that field?
I feel we need to mention Leeds United's very swiftly aborted social media campaign of trying to all Leeds, aren't we? Meet Dali, Natan to Rudy and sings, and it was gone within about half an hour because everyone went, this guy's a Man United fan, she's a Leicester fan.
Yeah.
Why have you done this?
We do want to celebrate diversity amongst the Leeds United fan base not by celebrating the diversity of having other teams' fans. That's taking it a bit. That's sort of misunderstanding the assignment.
Yeah,
I think.
The frightening, slightly worrying subtext is, get me some Asian people, they'll do. And it's like, come on, we can do better than that.
Yeah, it seems to have been an Adidas run thing. Certainly, they had the they're named in it, and it's hashtag created with Adidas. But yeah, it's
created with scum bastards is what it should have said. Yeah,
is that what they're saying about Daniel James's baby? Is that what?
I suppose. Yeah. Does it make a difference that I mean, it's obviously has been born now as a Leeds player's son, but conceived as a Man United player's. I don't know. I don't know where it puts it.
There's an existential crisis looming here, isn't there?
I mean, are you going to have to tell the kid when it gets older? By the way, I've got something to tell you about.
Like a big family secret.
Yeah. When you were conceived, I was at Man United. Sorry you had to find out this way, but I just thought I'd tell you before you read it on the internet.
Oh, poor lad. Let's hope better days lie ahead. Who's your villain of the week?
I'd personally give it to VAR, refs, Mike Dean, Pawson.
It's the popular choice, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
It feels nice and old-fashioned to just blame a ref as well. I don't think we do it enough.
I think we may have touched on this earlier. We haven't been able to make enough of it. The way that the Dan James one just got brushed under the carpet against Newcastle, like, oh, here's a replay. Yeah, that should have been a penalty. It's like, well, where's our 3 days of crying about it? So this is our 3 days of crying about it. Here we are.
Here we are nearly a week later, still bitching and moaning about it. Good. Right, let's pick a Gaetano Berardi Hero of the Week for this award. Nominations, please.
Dan James, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Did quite well, didn't he? Played the game after all that, and I suppose he's what is it his wife or his partner? I don't know. She deserves some credit, I suppose.
Is he not getting? Oh, it's for the baby.
Yeah.
I thought it was just for going in a helicopter because that's really cool.
I think the whole thing combined.
Because I was imagining if it was heroism vis-a-vis the chopper, then he must have ridden from Manchester sort of with the door open, sit with his feet on the rail, like looking really hard, maybe tired.
Like he's in Vietnam or something.
If he was dressed smartly at the hospital, if he got his tie and put it up around his forehead like it was a bandana. Yeah, if he'd done that all the way down to Fulham.
I do like
screaming.
I do like to imagine that somebody said to him, "Get to the chopper." At this point, that would have been nice. Yeah, well done, Dan James, for what has been a productive and exciting week. EFL.
I mean, again, I feel like Ria's production is the thing. I mean, he didn't even get an assist, did he? I suppose he got an assist for that.
I think I would suggest he was heavily involved. You'd hope so, anyway, wouldn't you? Anyway, EFL, they're getting a nomination for bringing justice to bear, finally, on Derby.
I mean, they have taken their time, haven't they? And I think partly Derby have just got tired and have themselves run out of money to bother maintaining this complete charade that they've been doing. They're like, yeah, okay, game's up. We'll take what's coming.
But the counter argument to this is, what is justice delayed is justice denied, and that's how Wycombe feel about it. So EFL, you've stitched up Wycombe. Not good enough. Be better.
And it has given Derby fans all sorts of wriggle room where they can say, oh, it was ages ago, why are you still going on about it? You should have, if it was a problem then, why are you going on about it now? So, and also, there's nothing in place to stop this from ever happening again, is there? They'll just keep, teams will just keep doing this. Look at the state of Reading, the state of half the teams in the competition.
By the time teams get punished, it's too late, isn't it, essentially? That's the point at which you realise the shit has hit the fan. It's like, points deductions are kicking in. You're getting relegated. There's no money left to continue propping these teams up, and then it's, before you know it, you're
like trying to herd,
out of business.
Trying to herd cats, isn't it? You manage to get a few of them inside the pen, but before you know, 3 of them have escaped over there, and they're spending money and misbehaving.
And you look at the quality of people who Mel Morris claimed to have been talking to publicly are the kind of people who think they can buy a championship club and it's that has been created by the way the Championship has been run by the EFL. Why are they nominated for heroes when
Sean Harvey?
Their entire competition is just based on the idea that any chancer can come along and pick up a club and get waved through, ruin it, and then they'll go, oh, we'll deduct you some points for that.
Yeah, actually, so despite what we said before, they're dickheads and we don't like them, so forget them. Right, let's talk about some Leeds ones because we've had lots of positive Leeds nominations. Rodrigo, by weight of nomination, got loads here. Craig, Rich, Jim, Michael, Nathan, Aidan, Johnny, Kit, and so on and so forth. Big old list of people saying, well done to Rodrigo just for what's been a far better week than we saw in the early weeks of the season.
He's got a lovely face as well, hasn't he? I notice this sometimes when he... when something happens, there's that famous gif of his goal being allowed by VAR and then he does the thing. But there's quite often you'll see a close-up of him after missing a shot or something. He seems quite happy to be in his work and life and nice to be around. And there's a lovely clip of him from last season when he did a Zoom call with a school and they cheer and they show him sitting in front of the laptop in Thorpe Arch going, yay, cheering along with them. And it's so much better because quite often you see a player in that situation going like, I don't know what to do with these kids. And then Adam Forshaw telling them to take cold showers in the morning.
And he was the one who said,
Jackie,
just talk to your partners about
Jackie
it.
Harrison,
and he's like,
yeah.
oh no, you're 11.
So if you're ever feeling down, then you can talk to your partners or your mum.
Just go to the pub and get leathered. That's what I'd do, kids.
But Rodrigo was really entering into the spirit of it with his little yay. So, and he sort of brings that to the pitch. He doesn't feel...
He's just nice, isn't he?
Yeah, he's never far away from
He's like a teddy bear. Is Rodrigo.
And a good footballer. We've now seen, and that was the thing about the Newcastle performance, which he's really getting all these nominations for, was how much of it was, we seem to have got to the line of like, he'll never be able to do this job of playing as a 10 behind Bamford. It's just not something you can do. And then that's exactly where he did all his brilliant work against Newcastle. And one of the underrated moments was that wonderful pass from wing to wing at one point, which is the vision, execution, skill, exactly what you want. However, if he doesn't do it again against West Ham, he can just fuck off back to Valencia, can't he?
Other nominations, right? Jack and Steve nominated Matthijs Klick. Graham and a bunch of other people nominated Meslier for the penalty save and the death stare towards the Fulham end. Raphina got a nomination for being brilliant for such a cheap price. No, he missed a glaring chance though, didn't he? And he
Moscow is holding him to account for that chance more than he has anything in Tyler Roberts' entire Leeds career.
Tyler Roberts is here as well, Mr. M. White. Is that? Oh, it's you.
I expect more from Raphina. Also, dodgy hip.
See, he's a villain because of a bad hip.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fair enough.
Don't know what that means for Adam Forshaw going forward, but there you go.
Well, Adam Forshaw's better now, so he's not perpetually injured the way that Raphina is.
Whoever picked,
not been fit this week, has he?
Whoever picked Pascal Struijk and Struijk himself for the Liverpool under-23s thing, I thought that was an excellent bit of low-level trolling by both the person who picked him, Mark Jackson, presumably with the assistance of Bielsa, and Struijk himself for scoring.
Some great stuff as well with Struijk because he was playing in... he was in midfield, but he wasn't doing the Calvin Phillips job. He was Matches Klick for that game and then went left back in the second half. So it's really just taking versatility to extremes. Yeah, taking the piss out of him specifically, but rising to all the challenges. It's a really good header that he scored against them.
Harvey Elliott did actually get a nomination for just seeming like a decent bloke about everything that has gone on as well.
Yeah, so let's ask Harry Kane.
Norwich get a nomination. Tom nominated Norwich for ensuring that we only have to concentrate on being better than two other teams this year. Feels like a little bit like a...
Yeah, there's a certain amount of reassurance in it though, isn't it? It's a bit like Sheffield United earlier last season. You were like, okay, they're going down, so that's good. That's one less thing to worry about. We don't have to finish bottom, at least. So yeah, that's been good for him.
Another little, I said a little outsider here. Kelly Cates, host on Sky Sports, who ensured that Liam Cooper was stood behind the line doing the post-Newcastle interviews. So go back over there, at which point he promptly handed the microphone back to Gary Neville, shook all their hands, they had a little kiss and a cuddle, and everyone went home happy. But never mind, it was the effort, it was the thought that counted, wasn't it? This is going to be Meslier, isn't it, surely? Are we giving it to Meslier this week?
Oh, Rodrigo. Rodrigo's got more nominations.
Yeah, but that was on the weight of Newcastle, wasn't it? Whereas I think Meslier was excellent at Newcastle, and then he saved penalty.
I guess we didn't ask for feedback for Fulham, did we? So that has skewed it a little bit.
I feel like Mellier's won this before several times, whereas Rodrigo just gets a load of hassle, doesn't he?
He took his penalty well last night as well.
Rodrigo.
Mm-hmm.
I was. He took it first as well, didn't he? So
He didn't take it. He didn't take it that well. Actually, it nearly got saved. If you remember.
No, it was pure power that
Rodrigo got like most of a hand on it, but he kind of bounced it back under himself.
No, but you always say hit it dead hard. He hit it dead hard. It went in. What more do you want from him?
And I'll tell you why Meslier
Not hard
can't. Meslier can't win because he didn't take a penalty.
That was one thing I was hoping for. If it had got that far, I was wondering would it be Shackleton first or was it Meslier?
I would love to see Meslier take a penalty, and so him not asserting himself like Adam, stay back. Although then the other side of this is how audible Meslier was last night during the game, because there was a lot of "Kibar" just in which we were used to when it's behind closed doors. Maybe it's an indication of how quiet Craven Cottage was, where you could hear an awful lot of him. I think, and there was more dialogue. He said something else that wasn't just "Kibar," but then we also heard how often he said it, because like the ball's on halfway, trying to build an attack, and he's like "Kibar." So that was all good. So I liked hearing him, but I feel like
if Meslier does take a penalty, how's he taking it?
Probably with his feet. I think as a starting point.
I think it's a Panenka.
Like countdown. Check my answer. Panenka I've written down.
Is that what you put?
Yep. That's exactly what I've put, because that is how he would do it. Because he's that much of a cool bastard. He would think nothing of it. Just humiliating another goalkeeper.
So we're giving it to Rodrigo.
And you can't disprove it now either, because it didn't happen, so absolutely fine. Yeah, so Rodrigo's the hero of the week then.
Yes.
Congratulations to Rodrigo. Yeah, it's been a good week, and fingers crossed he gets to repeat it against West Ham with a match-winning performance. That wraps it up for this one, doesn't it? We'll be back. Let me have a think. And so we've got the Nigel Martin interview to come on the Extra Ball, and you'll catch us with the live stream if you're a TSB Plus subscriber after West Ham, and that'll be live for everybody else not long after that. Thanks for listening to this one. We'll see you soon.
The Square Ball Podcast.